Matt Nagy, you are a New York Giant. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and John Harbaugh has hired an offensive coordinator for Big Blue. A lot to discuss. I have a lot of thoughts. I've seen the reaction on Twitter from all of the real ones. I've looked at the comments section of the video that we put out this morning, and I think I know where this is going to go. But before we get there, I want you to officially grade the hire of Matt Nagy as the Giants offensive coordinator. Get out your red pen. Be honest with me. Shoot straight from the hip and let me know. What would you give the grade of Matt Nagy as a Giants offensive coordinator? A, B, C, D, or F? We'll give some shout-outs. AJ gives it a D. Herb got a B. Marty Malela a C. Seth Gross is giving it a C. Brian a B. New Avatar CTM gives it a C. SRT a B-. Carter D-. Melvin a B. Semper Fi, what up, my man, a C. Eli Russell's giving it a C. Eddie Pearson a B. D, B, F, B, none, C. We have an A. Christopher Cote is giving it an A. Never wanted a coach fired this quick, says Jack Reacher or Wrecker. Yeah, look, there's some reasons to be excited about this hire. There's some reasons to be feeling like you're in the dark with this hire. You go and look at Matt Nagy's resume. You listen to the video that we put out this morning, and there's just never been a stretch of multiple years where Matt Nagy has been a great offensive coach. He had a good first year with the Chicago Bears, but the Bears defense that year was also one of the best in the National Football League. He goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, and whether it be personnel, whether it be Nagy, whether it be Andy Reid just running out of his secret stuff, the last 3 years that Nagy has been there were some of the worst of Patrick Mahomes' career. And then after I filmed my video this morning, I went and watched every single Matt Nagy YouTube video there was under the sun, of press conferences, of interviews. He just sit down with CBS Sports, where he had someone produce a really like an autopsy of his NFL coaching career from an anonymous lens. And it was 45 pages, and he read it and he reacted to it. And then you go and listen to what Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes had to say about Nagy before he was on the podcast. And they brought him on the podcast. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't a home run hire, in my opinion. This isn't a coordinator that I wanted. I mean, I think if you watched our video of top offensive coordinator candidates that we did last week, there was a joke at the end of it that there's no way they actually hire Matt Nagy, right? And then they did. And for all the people out there that are like, but Marshall, you said you trust him. Yeah, I do trust that Matt Nagy is going to be good for the Giants. Doesn't mean I have to agree that it was the right hire, that it was an A-plus hire. If John Harbaugh wears an ugly shirt, I'm going to tell him it's ugly. I'm still going to believe in him. I had the people that I wanted. It doesn't matter who I wanted. I'm going to be rooting for Matt Nagy. There's no reason for us to root against Nagy. And it's Nagy, by the way. It's not Nagy. It's Matt Nagy. He says Nagy. Mahomes says Nagy. Kelce says Nagy. Everyone says Nagy. It became Nagy when the Chicago Bears fans started speaking about them because they can't talk properly. It's Matt Nagy. That's how you say his name. Hopefully, we're saying he is the offensive coordinator that helps Jaxson Dart reach the apex of his career. Look, I think there's a lot to be desired. I'm going to be honest. I don't love the offensive coordinator hire. I don't love the defensive coordinator hire. But at the end of the day, one of Harbaugh's strongest traits while he was the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens was building a staff. And 90% of the time, that staff was great. And another 10% it wasn't great, like Zach Orr as the defensive coordinator or Greg Roman, who he had to fire. I think Matt Nagy can do a good job here, but to say that anyone is more in on the Giants after this hire, or your belief that they're going to be better after this hire, is respectfully a lie. No one actually feels like that. You're just convincing yourself that you feel that way. I mean, we're having to go back to 2017, where he coached the Chiefs offense for the last 4 games this season to find elite success. I know everyone's going to have an opinion. Marshall, trust John Harbaugh. Trust John Harbaugh. I do trust John Harbaugh. Doesn't mean that I have to tell him everything he does is the perfect thing in the world. If that was the case, why would I have a show that is built off of my opinion of the New York Giants? I'm going to root for him. I'm going to hope that he does well. But to say that I am over the moon about the Matt Nagy hire would be factually incorrect, in my opinion. And I think everyone should feel that way, to be honest.
Yeah, you got to give your 2 cents, your take, and what you feel. And I think anytime you have to kind of go back and try and figure out there's reasons to justify, people are going out, it's not clear and obvious why it's a good hire. You have to go and say, well, it could be a good hire because of this, or it could be a good hire because of this. But if it's not, oh, wow, this is a great hire just on the surface, that's obviously a little concerning when you're talking about, especially something as important as the offensive coordinator working with Jaxson Dart in his 2nd year. John Harbaugh obviously not being an offensive-minded head coach. This is arguably the most important staff hire that John Harbaugh is going to make as New York Giants head coach. And, yeah, it's that combined with everyone. We all kind of figured we were getting Todd Monken. And that dream obviously has died. He's the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So you have that, what we were expecting, the letdown from that, and then the letdown of I've heard a lot of people say uninspiring hire in Matt Nagy.
I think you just have to say this. Giants' plan A was Todd Monken. Their plan B was Davis Webb. Their plan C was Charlie Weiss Jr. I don't know how many more official plans they had after that, but they ended up hiring Matt Nagy. So for anyone to say, Marshall, you're being an a-hole because you don't like the hire, all you have to say is, well, he wasn't Harbaugh's first choice, he wasn't Harbaugh's second choice, and he wasn't his third choice. So what are we really saying here? It doesn't even matter who I wanted or who you wanted. John Harbaugh told us he wanted Todd Monken. John Harbaugh then told us that he wanted Davis Webb. It has now been reported the Giants could not sway Charlie Weiss Jr. to leave LSU. It's pick number 4 for him. And if you go to the bar and you got to leave with the 4th hottest girl you saw, what was it a successful hire? We're going to see, but we'll go through the numbers. There is best case scenario is he does his best job with the Giants. Because if you get the Matt Nagy that did what he did in Kansas City, that then he does with the Giants, and then you get the Matt Nagy that did what he did with Chicago, that he does then with the Giants, he'll be fired after a year and a half. So the hope is his best coaching job comes with the Giants, because if we're just going to get what he did in other spots, we're all going to be pretty upset, and so will John Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's it. It's a projection hire, a future thing, because you're not basically hiring off of the numbers we've seen recently in Kansas City. And whatever that is, obviously, even if he is plan 4, that John Harbaugh feels that he's the best available option at this moment, and that's what they're rolling with. And that's not exactly the most exciting or inspiring thing, but this is it. There's no changing it at this point. It's Matt Nagy. They got to roll with it, and he has a great opportunity to kind of reshape the narrative around him as well if he can find success with Jaxson Dart and the New York Giants.
Sorry, I was having to block someone in the chat. I saw someone, I don't remember the name, the chat's going really fast, asked how many hires have been bad for John Harbaugh. And that's kind of hard to say. And I think we made it abundantly clear here. One of his strongest strengths in Baltimore was building a really good staff. But to act as if every single one has been great would be a little bit of a lie, right? I mean, all you have to do is go back to the defensive coordinator and go mean green. I'll always rock with Zach Orr. That was a horrible hire. That did not go well. There's a reason you didn't bring him to the Giants with him. Look, I don't want to be up here and be the guy that's trying to pour gallons of water on the hype fire that is John Harbaugh with this fan base. And I understand people are going to be, Marshall, you're always going to complain. You're always going to do this. John Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame head coach. He hasn't pressed the button that's correct 1,000% of the time. He'll admit he's made mistakes. He even said that he made a mistake by not hiring Denard Wilson or Anthony Weaver over Zach Orr. I would just say that the staff that he's built isn't the most inspiring. Like, you're getting an offensive coordinator in Matt Nagy that's never had an offense that scored in the top 5 points per game, never in back-to-back years had a top 10 scoring offense, and Denard Wilson was the defensive coordinator of arguably the worst defense in the NFL over the last 2 years. Those are just facts. We're all rooting for John Harbaugh. This doesn't change anything about it. But I guess what I'm just a little bit concerned of is he is reliant on his staff, considering he doesn't call plays on either side of the ball, which means the offensive and defensive coordinator become that much more important when you have a CEO style of head coach. And of all the staffs that have been reconstructed, I don't think the Giants are near the top when it comes to offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It's not what people expected. When John Harbaugh got hired, it was, okay, this guy has an elite network within the NFL. He's going to be able to get it's going to be an attractive spot for some of the top candidates to come coach, whether on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. And we were expecting John Harbaugh to have slam dunk hires at both coordinator positions. And I think it's, like you said, fair to say that these are not slam dunk hires at either coordinator position. And that expectation of where we're at leads us to kind of feeling the way we do about both offensive and defensive coordinator.
We know for a fact that he didn't get his top choice for whatever reason. Not saying it's his fault. He didn't get Todd Monken, and he did not get Jim Leonard. It's been purported that those were the top two choices. We also heard a lot. How many weeks did we hear Anthony Weaver is going to be the top dog? And the reports that came out that Harbaugh wasn't giving his coordinators, offensive or defense, full power to build their own staffs. Then Jim Leonard goes to the Bills. Then Anthony Weaver goes to the Ravens. And then you land on Denard Wilson, who got fired from the Tennessee Titans. Then you build an offensive staff where you're already hiring running back coach and you're already hiring other spots. We'll just do it now. Let's just go through all the graphics that we have that paint the picture. I think let's start with the thing that I'm most excited about with Matt Nagy is when he was the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and he worked with Mitchell Trubisky. They won games. In the first year there in 2018, when Trubisky started 14 games, the Bears went 11-3. And in the second year of Mitch Trubisky, that is pretty damn good. And I think that is arguably his best year as a coach. They were number 9 in points per game, but only number 21 in offensive yards per game. And they also had the number 1 scoring defense in the National Football League. So was it Matt Nagy's offense that was top 10 in points per game that had them win 11, 14 games or whatever it was, win the NFC North and get to the playoffs? Or was the defense? Well, I got to give Matt Nagy credit because he built that defensive staff, and he got Vic Fangio, I believe, who was the defensive coordinator in that year. So that's probably my favorite thing about Nagy is he won games when he had Mitchell Trubisky. On the flip side, though, he wasn't able to develop Mitchell Trubisky into an elite quarterback. And now, is that Trubisky's fault? Is that Nagy's fault? I think that probably leans a little bit more on Mitch Trubisky, considering he hasn't been good anywhere else. And then Justin Fields. He wasn't able to get him to be an elite quarterback. And again, is that more Fields or is that Nagy? I would lean more towards that as Fields because I don't think Justin Fields is that good of a quarterback. Something that I'm extremely concerned about is when he was the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and he got that job because of what he did as the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, he had to give up play calling not once but twice in Chicago. You're the head coach. You got the job for being the head coach because of your play calling, and you had to give up play calling not once but twice. Didn't we have an offensive coach that got this job for his ability to call plays at the prior spot, and then he came here and he had to give up play calling multiple times, right? Didn't we just do that with Brian Dable? So I don't love that. And I also don't love, and is it Andy Reid? Is it the weapons? What's going on with the Chiefs? Like, causation, correlation, I don't know. But when Matt Nagy got to Kansas City, they went from the league's most explosive offense to looking like the New York Giants. 2018, first in yards per play, then second, then first, then first. And then Matt Nagy arrives as the offensive coordinator / QB coach while Andy Reid calls the plays, but it's Matt Nagy in the headset of the quarterback. They go from first to ninth in yards per play, then 22nd, and then 23rd. And then his contract runs out. And instead of bringing him back, Andy Reid calls up the most toxic ex-girlfriend that he has in his life and brings him back as the offensive coordinator. I don't... Eric Bieniemy. You had the most explosive offense with Eric Bieniemy. Things got toxic in Kansas City. They let him go. They bring in Nagy. They go from first, second, first to ninth, 22nd, and 23rd. And then you don't bring him back, and you call Eric Bieniemy back, who trashed the organization on his way out. Something else that I am extremely concerned about with Matt Nagy is outside of 2017 with the Kansas City Chiefs, where he did not call plays until the final 4 weeks of the season, he has never had a top 12 rushing offense when it comes to yards per attempt. In 2018 with the Chicago Bears, they were 27th. In 2019 with the Chicago Bears, they were 29th. In 2020 with the Chicago Bears, they were 21st. In 2021 with the Chicago Bears, they were 21st. So in the 4 years he was with the Bears, they never had better than a top 20 yards per carry offense. My concern with him is, as my other long list of concerns is, he's never been able to put an offense together that is dominant on the ground. And I think, and even the years with Kansas City, 13th in yards per attempt, 29th in yards per attempt, 20th in yards per attempt. People might say, well, Marshall, the running back. Wasn't the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2023 and 2024 one of the best units in the National Football League? So I'm worried that the offense is not going, or his offense has not been great on the ground. So I'm worried about that. And I think the thing that an offensive coordinator can use that is, I think the thing that is most indicative about an offensive coordinator being elite is run game. Everyone can draw up these fancy pass plays, these quick pass plays at the line. How do you design an explosive run game? How do you get after the other team on the ground? What concepts are you using on the ground? What type of rushing offense are you building? So I say that to say the Giants need to hire someone as a run game coordinator that has had a lot of success in that department. I'd probably call up Greg Roman. I think you look at Roman and it's Nagy, it's your offense. You work with the quarterback, you work with Dart, and I think Nagy does have a really good eye for quarterback talent. But he didn't develop Trubisky, and he didn't develop Fields. And when Mahomes started working with him, it kind of went downhill. And there's a lot of reasons why that may be, and it's not fair to only say it's Matt Nagy. But there's enough evidence to suggest he cannot build a good running offense. He did it in multiple spots where they were below the Mendoza line. So bring in an offensive mind at the run game coordinator spot that has built a dominant run game before. I would bring in Greg Roman. I would look to bring him in as the run game coordinator. Something else that I don't love is his offenses outside of 1 year in Chicago and 2017 in Kansas City were never top 10 in points per game. In fact, they were consistently one of the lowest in points per game. In 2017, with the Kansas City Chiefs, they were number 6 in points per game. We talked about in 2018, I thought that was his best job as a coach. He won the NFL Coach of the Year award that year. But then you're the 29th best scoring offense, and then the 22nd best scoring offense, then the 27th best scoring offense. And then if you want to say Andy Reid called plays in Kansas City, that's fine. Hopefully that he learned something from Kansas City. But even then, with Patrick Mahomes, and we showed you the stats, that offense was not great. So I don't love that. I've never liked the idea of hiring an offensive coordinator that's never been an elite offensive coordinator. That's a worry for me. So if you only want to talk about the Bears years, which I think people are going to point to make themselves feel better, is that, well, Marshall, he didn't call the plays in Kansas City. Okay, let's ignore those years. 9th, 29th, 22nd, and 27th. Does that give you a good feeling about the offense? And you say, well, Marshall, it was Justin Fields and it was it was Mitch Trubisky. Well, he picked Justin Fields. He was the head coach when they picked Justin Fields. Do you not think that he wanted Justin Fields? He nailed the 2017 draft. He was all in on Mahomes. So I give him a lot of credit for that. Like, I don't think it's hard to paint the picture that this is a hire that we are hoping we get his best coaching job going forward. Because if we get the same coach that coached the Bears and the same coach that coached the Chiefs, this time next year we'll probably be talking about a new offensive coordinator. Never an explosive offense. Never an elite offense on the ground. And outside of 1 year as the head coach in Chicago, they were never top 19 in points per game, except once. So I don't love that. I don't know. We're going to find out. Just because John Harbaugh said go right doesn't mean that I have to say that going right was the best decision. I am hoping I'm wrong. I am praying I'm wrong. This is the most important hire on the staff. Harbaugh told you, I spend more time with the defense. I'm not trying to be the guy that is up here. You know how bad I like to be up here today saying the Giants hit a home run hire at the offensive coordinator spot and the Giants offense is going to be better than it ever has? No one likes to be more recklessly optimistic than me. I just don't have anything to stand on right now that paints that Matt Nagy is an elite offensive head coach. If you were to poll anonymous GMs on power ranking the offensive coordinators in the NFL, where do you think Matt Nagy falls?
Probably middle of the pack, I would say. And
yeah, I'd say close to bottom 10, but they didn't bring him back in Kansas City. Yeah. If you can't produce an explosive offense with Patrick Mahomes, why or how are you? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. Anytime you feel like you have to grasp at straws to try and justify why this could be a good hire or why like the numbers aren't painting the picture that it's a good job or he's good at his job or he's been good recently or he's deserved. I guess this isn't technically a promotion. He's offensive coordinator, but he is controlling the offense now, which he wasn't in Kansas City. It was Andy Reid controlling the offense. Now he is pretty much the head coach of the offense for the Giants. John Harbaugh is not an offensive-minded head coach. So Matt Nagy is controlling the entire offense.
Seth asks, how do you gauge what makes a great offensive coordinator? The things that I would point to is, one, does your offense score a lot of points? And that's kind of a no shit answer, but that would be number one on my list. Number two is, how effective is your run game? That'd be number two. Number three is, how do you squeeze the most production out of your quarterbacks? Which I think he actually did a pretty good job with Mitch Trubisky in that spot. Then it goes to, for me, how do you develop quarterbacks? Do quarterbacks get better by working with you? I don't think that is a green check mark for him. So do quarterbacks get better with you? Do you get the most out of your quarterbacks? Do you have a good run game? And do you score a lot of points? Those would probably be the four pillars for me. Does his offense score a lot of points? Well, we showed you the numbers. That would say no. Does your offense have a good rushing attack? Well, the numbers say no. Does he get the most out of his quarterbacks? I think he did with Mitchell Trubisky. I don't think he did with Patrick Mahomes. So we can go check mark and minus on that one. Number four, do quarterbacks get better when they work with you? Well, the answer is no. So we are 0-3-1 on my four pillars of what a great offensive coordinator would be. It's not great. It's not great. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not saying I know more football than Matt Nagy. I'm not saying I know more football than John Harbaugh. My thoughts, my opinions, and I appreciate you all coming to hear those. When the only thing I've seen from Giants fans to defend this hire is trust John Harbaugh, and he's got a lot of experience, I am getting chills down my spine of Jason Garrett 2.0. If you have to talk about his prior experience, which we just went through the numbers, isn't great, when you have to lean on the word experience to justify a hire, you're in trouble. Trust the process. Trust John Harbaugh. He's got a bunch of experience.
Yeah, at that point, you're almost better off taking a coin flip of someone who doesn't have experience, who could be better than what your quote-unquote known commodity that you're getting, whatever the decision is.
Yeah, so not a big fan of the hire. I'd give it like a C-. I think I'm being grading on a curve there. No, there's no news on the contract he signed. Doesn't really matter what the contract is, to be honest with you. Yeah, like if he doesn't do a good job, they're going to fire him. And that's one thing I'll give Harbaugh credit for. He's been very quick to move off of coordinators if it has not worked. Rocky Hollick says, you are professionally pessimistic, brother. Solid B hire. Okay. You could feel that way. I'm not trying to convince anybody up here. My goal is not to have you leave this show and say Matt Nagy is a bad hire. All we've given you is the information. What positives are we missing about this? We pointed to he won games with Mitch Trubisky. And we pointed to he had a top 9 scoring offense his first year there. It's not my job to come up here and wipe your butts and put a smile on your face and tell you everything's going to be A-okay with the Giants. Because if I did, you wouldn't think I have any credibility because they've lost the second most games in the NFL since 2017. You can't be pessimistic if all of your opinions point to the Giants are no good and then they are no good. That would be called realistic, not pessimistic, right?
Yeah, that's it. There's no reason to expect anything else other than what you're basing it off of, which is the stats of Matt Nagy's offensive points per game, his rush yarding per game, the success of the quarterbacks he's worked with, the fact that he was not re-signed by his prior employer, and then he was potentially, supposedly in the running for all these head coaching jobs that never materialized for him. I haven't heard him rumored to be any other team's offensive coordinator leading up to this. It wasn't like he was in demand and the Giants got a guy that everybody wanted. It seems like Giants were kind of left at the altar by some of their top choices. Matt Nagy didn't really have anywhere else to go, and that kind of became the marriage, the Giants and Matt Nagy. So that's not exactly something where you can go out and you can come in here celebrating, saying, yes, we got our guy. We got the guy that's going to lead the offense back. He's going to get everything out of Jaxson Dart.
This is the most important hire for the Giants. Jaxson Dart, year 2. If he fails, are you going to hire another offense coordinator in year 3? And then he's learned his 3.5 system by the time before he plays his first game in year 3, because he learned the Kafka system, then he learned the Dable system. Now he's going to learn this system, and he's going to learn another system. Booze World, I love your enthusiasm, man. Says, I can't deal with Marshall crying. I'll tune back in once you realize we got a 2-time Super Bowl winning coach that won Coach of the Year. How did that same thought process work out with Brian Dable? How many Super Bowls did he win before he got here? Coached with Saban, coached with Belichick. He won Coach of the Year here. Wow. I'll let you in on a secret. Coach of the Year doesn't mean shit. Kevin Stefanski, 2-time Coach of the Year, fired. Matt Nagy, Coach of the Year, fired. Brian Dable, Coach of the Year, fired. You win Coach of the Year, and you almost put in ink that you're going to be fired in 3 years. Like, do I need to go through the recent NFL head coaches of the year? Like, really? We're going back to Marshall. He won Super Bowls and was Coach of the Year. Weren't you guys saying the same thing about Jason Garrett? When he was hired, we told you it was a horrible hire. Joe Judge, all those Super Bowls. Coach with Saban, coach with Belichick. And then it's, Marshall, you won Super Bowls, but then it's also, well, Marshall, you didn't call the plays at Kansas City. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
He's either responsible or not responsible for what goes on.
I even tweeted out, I think there's a good chance this works out. But there's also a lot of reasons to pause and have concern about this hire. I think if you just look at the poll, there's been 730 people that have voted, and 12% have given it an A. No one woke up today to that notification and said, fuck yeah, we got Matt Nagy. Who did that? Who did that? I'd love to know.
Matt Nagy did it. He saw it. He was pretty fired up. That's probably about it.
Oh, hell yeah, we got Matt Nagy.
I don't even think John Harbaugh had that reaction.
Of course not. He didn't want him. He wanted Todd Monken. Then he wanted Davis Webb. And then he wanted Charlie Weiss. And he got Matt Nagy. And I hope, you know what? I hope Matt Nagy gets a head coach job next year for how good he did with the Giants this year. But everyone is lying to themselves, which is embarrassing. If you woke up today and pumped your fist and said, hell yeah, we got Matt Nagy, and you don't. Who did that? Who? Well, Marshall, he won Super Bowls in Kansas City. Well, he actually didn't even call it plays in Kansas City. So which one is it? Which one is it? Last year, Kansas City had mediocre receivers while Rice was on suspension, running back sucked, and Kelsey is declining. I say we have to wait and see. I agree. We do have to wait and see. Do the Giants have elite weapons? It was an experience hire. There you go. Thank you for being honest. Just like Jason Garrett was an experience hire. If the best thing that sticks out on your resume as an NFL head coach is experience, it's not really all that good, in my opinion. Do your research. Nagy did call plays. He did. 2017. Last 4 games of the year, he did call plays. And I believe that he had a very strong influence on the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Having some major NBA trades. Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Bulls, Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. That's a weird one.
I saw the Jaxson one. I didn't see that one.
The thing that's most concerning for me is everywhere Matt Nagy has been, the offense has not been explosive. It just hasn't been explosive. And I think we know, Picho, you says he raises the floor. The Giants had the what was the Giants' scoring offense this year? NFL points per game ranks. Let's see. The Giants had the 16th best scoring offense at 22.4 points. Do you think the Giants are going to average more or be higher than 16th next year? We'll see. We'll see. Considering the Giants averaged more points than Kansas City this year. Like,
the rookie quarter with Russell Wilson for a few games, Jameis Winston for a few games, rookie quarterback for the rest of that. No Malik Nabers, Cam Skattebo missed half the year. Solid O-line play.
The Giants' offense was pretty good this year. Like, I understand the floor raising comment, but that would apply to like the Giants' defense, who was one of the worst in the NFL last year. I'm not asking for a floor raiser. I'm asking for an elite offensive mind that takes this team to a ceiling. We're no longer the floor raising Giants. We are ceiling raising New York Giants. That's what's more important to me. How can you take this group to the next level? Or do you just build a floor where it's like, and like, what also makes you think that? We just went through the points per game where Matt Nagy called the plays. I'm not trying to say anyone's right. I'm not trying to say I'm literally just using facts. Yeah. I'm literally just using statistics.
I think also, like, once we got John Harbaugh, it became, okay, the Giants are giving him a record amount of money to fill out his staff. We're going to get, like, John Harbaugh is going to make elite hires. He's going to be able to get some of the best coordinators in the league. That was kind of the messaging, the feeling around the Giants when John Harbaugh was hired. And then we thought it was going to be Todd Monken on the offensive side of the ball. Todd Monken obviously gets the Browns coaching job. Matt Nagy doesn't scream elite offensive coordinator based on all of the numbers that you just looked at. Points, they don't score that much. The Chiefs have been worse the last couple of years when he's been there. And yes, there's other things at play as well, but if he was that good, look at some of the teams that you see teams out there who will have like stopgap quarterbacks in there and not a lot of weapons, and they're still able to find ways to score points and get it done. It's just not. No one's ever was saying Matt Nagy's recent performance was elite as an offensive coordinator, and that's what we thought we were getting with John Harbaugh.
3 offensive coordinator jobs were open last night, and Matt Nagy didn't have a job, and then the Giants hired him. If he was this one and he was this good, he would have had a job somewhere else. And you made a great point. John Harbaugh negotiated for days to have an unlimited amount of money to build a coaching staff. Anyone that woke up today and was fist-pumping Jersey Shore style, we got Matt Nagy, we got Denard Wilson, we are back. You're lying. You're lying. And it's okay to drink copium. And I'm already starting to do it. I'm trying to see the positives in this. I'm trying to be excited about this. I'm trying to find reasons to believe these were the right hires. But as I stand here today and Andrew sits there and you watch this show, you know in your heart of hearts, the Giants staff that has been built is a little
it was, okay, John Harbaugh's here, and John Harbaugh's going to get elite guys, and he's going to manage the whole operation and like kind of let them do their work. And now you get the feeling that we need John Harbaugh, football-wise, to kind of be more involved on the X's and O's in order to get for the Giants to be as good as possible. That was kind of not, at least what I was thinking. It was, okay, John Harbaugh's going to get here. He's going to get a top OC, top DC, and they're going to be able to kind of just run it. And John Harbaugh is going to be kind of doing his thing, running the whole operation. He's going to be more involved with the roster, maybe. Now it's like, man, John Harbaugh is going to have to be kind of like getting in the nitty-gritty X's and O's in order for the Giants to be as good as possible next season. Just not what we thought was going to happen. Doesn't mean that the Giants won't be good. They won't have a good season. And the offense won't be good or the defense won't be good. But expectations were raised, standards were raised, and kind of a little bit of a letdown with this. That's it.
Evan Kelly says Harbaugh has 5 years, guys. It's not the end of the world. So because he has 5 years, it's okay if he misses on his first batch of hires? What kind of sense does that make? It's year 2 of Jaxson Dart. Are we going to have him learning his third and a half offense by year 3? Is that what you want to do? Isn't the point to win in the rookie scale contract window of a rookie quarterback? When you have to say the Giants could fire Matt Nagy in a year, and that is your piece of evidence that it's going to be A-okay, you're walking into a dark alley with someone that has an M16 35 yards away from you. Is that what we're doing? It's going to be okay because he can fire him in a year and he's got a 5-year contract?
Just get a new guy.
Is that what we're doing?
You're already talking about firing the guy you just hired this morning as the best possible outcome.
I'm not saying I know better than John Harbaugh. I'm saying I don't and am not a big fan of the hire. I'm also saying I'm rooting for Matt Nagy, and I hope the best for Matt Nagy. But it's a fact. Monken was plan A. Davis Webb was plan B. Charlie Weiss Jr. was plan C. Even if you ask John Harbaugh, he got his 4th choice at best. So, and like, I'm not even like giving opinions based off of nothing. I'm literally just giving you stats and information of when he was an offensive coordinator. For this hire to be successful, Matt Nagy has to coach the best he's ever coached. Because if you get the Matt Nagy that was there in Chicago, you're going to be looking for a new offensive coordinator very soon. If you get the Matt Nagy that was in Kansas City, you're going to be looking for a new offensive coordinator. You are hoping that Matt Nagy's best days of coaching offense are ahead of him. And in my opinion, when you do that, you're hoping. We're hoping Matt Nagy's good. Even the biggest defenders of the hire today are hoping he's good. No one woke up today and said, I know Matt Nagy's going to crush it with the New York Giants, and he's going to be our coordinator for the next 5 years, or he's going to leave us for a head coaching job next summer. I don't know if you're that guy, stand tall and stand proud and say it in the chat. But I don't. Every Giants fan I've talked to today, no one is over the moon about the Matt Nagy hire. And you know what? It's not always that important to win the press conference or win the hire. But of all the things Matt Nagy has done in the past, I have no reason to believe he will do better here. No reason, meaning no factual information saying he's going to do better here. I hope so. I'm rooting for him to do so.
Yeah, it kind of almost gives at least a feeling of like, when in sports, when you sign a guy who, and it's not like we even haven't had, Matt Nagy hasn't had great results in the past, but you want to sign a guy who you think's best years are ahead of him, and it's not really easy to envision that with Matt Nagy. We're hoping that his best years are ahead of him, but it's not an ascending, it's not a It's not a sexy hire. Doesn't mean it can't be good, but just not a home run. Not something that is inspiring confidence for the Giants and their offense next season. We got a couple super chats coming in. I don't know if you want to run through those.
Yeah, give me a second. The guy won the NFL Coach of the Year. So did Brian Dable. So did Kevin Stefanski. And no one wanted Kevin Stefanski actually won the award twice, and nobody wanted him as the head coach of the Giants. Brian Dable won it. Should we have brought Brian Dable back because he won Coach of the Year? Coach of the Year is maybe the worst award in the NFL. Big Dash in the building. What up, Dash? Shout out to you, bro. Everyone go support his channel. Does awesome work. Because I felt this way until I took a deep dive into his offensive scheme and what he likes to do, and it all fits Dart. Yeah, I think there are some things to be excited about. And letting the quarterback play kind of a freelance style of ball and getting him outside the pocket and all that, I do think fits Jaxson Dart. But I hope it works. I hope it works. I do. We can go to those screenshots. Shout out to the guys over at Our Lads and David Sy. He posted a screenshot of Our Lads. They do like coaching write-ups on head coach candidates and things of that such. And he put out a pros and a cons one, and I'll read some of them. Nagy has worked with Andy Reid his entire career, minus the 4-year stint with Chicago. He has been deeply involved with the quarterback, dating back to his days in Philadelphia with Donovan McNabb, with 12 playoff appearances and 2 Super Bowl victories. Every stop he's been at, he has been a part of multiple postseason teams. He has simply been a key part to quality teams and quarterbacks in multiple cities. He won NFL Coach of the Year in his first season with Chicago, which happened to be year 2 of the Mitchell Trubisky era. They went 12-4 that season with the number 1 defense in the NFL. Both sides of the ball took a nosedive after that first impressive year, and the team got worse and worse the deeper into his tenure. But there was initial success. The offensive play design and play calling is known around the league to be both creative and simple for quarterbacks. He helped revive the career of Alex Smith, but also gets the Patrick Mahomes domination off the ground. He works best with passers who are capable of working off script with mobility. That is what Jaxson Dart does best. Some cons. This is again coming from a scope of head coach. There have not been a lot of head coaches with big success from the Andy Reid coaching tree over the last 17 years. A lot of them failed to live up to the hype when they weren't given an opportunity, which takes a little spice out of the fact Nagy is coming from this group. Nagy struggled to create a true offensive identity in Chicago and was often knocked for a lack of ability to react to defenses who thwarted his initial game plan. What a word. Clock management was also a repeated issue when he did not have Reid around. In Nagy's last 7 years, 4 of which in Kansas City, the offenses he has been involved with have no better than 15th in scoring offense. The Chicago scoring was a bottom 3rd rank each of his last 3 seasons, and the Kansas City scoring has gotten worse 3 consecutive seasons. So you can take that information for what you will. Our Lads does a great job. David is a very bright mind. I don't know if he wrote all of that. I think he did. I am just worried of the things he doesn't do well and how that's going to impact the New York Giants.
limitations.
Yeah. I also think of like this. For Jaxson Dart to be at his best, and this can obviously change, I think you have to have a good run game around him. And he needs to be a part of that run game. And we saw in the first year of Mitch Trubisky that he was involved in that run game. We talked about it on the video this morning. I'll pull up Trubisky's stats so I can get you that information. Unfortunately, I do not have it memorized. But his first year there in 2018, Trubisky, 421 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 14 games. Then the next year down to 193 yards in 15 games. And then after that, 195 yards in 9 games. But I'll take it to the level of building overall a rushing attack. And that is what worries me the most. I think the biggest thing you can do as an offensive coordinator that paints the picture that you are elite is being able to come up with a run game that dominates. And the rushing offense, if we just go to, we'll do a couple of different ones. Yards. The best it ever ranked was in 2017 with the Kansas City Chiefs, where he was only the offensive play caller for the last 4 games. In 2018, they were 11th in yards, the Bears. In 2021, they were 14th. In Kansas City, from 2013 to 2023 to 2025, they were 19th, 22nd, 25th. And then his last 2 years with the Bears, they were 25th and 27th. I think a better way to look at it is yards per attempt. How impactful are the carries that you give? In Chicago, they were 21st, 27th, and 29th. Was that because of the offensive line in Chicago? Was it because of the running backs in Chicago? Pick your poison. I worry about the ground game. I think you need to go out and hire a run game coordinator. The obvious one is Greg Roman. Is that bridge burned with the Harbaugh brothers? I'm not sure.
I think your point about is it potentially the run game not good potentially because of the offensive line, because of the running back, because of whatever. Think about it like this. If this is a quarterback, do you want the guy who needs the pieces around him in order to be successful? You want an offensive coordinator who can get the most out of the pieces there and make the run game as good as possible, even if the offensive line isn't elite, even if the running backs aren't elite. You don't want a guy that – it's like saying you want a system QB if you said you need a guy who can only be successful when the pieces are there. You want someone, an offensive coordinator, who elevates all the pieces on the offense around him. That's including the quarterback, but specifically in the run game, taking a mediocre or below average offensive line and making them better, taking a mediocre below average running back and running attack as a whole and making them better.
Trying to find something. Give me a second. Oh, why do they make these stats so hard to find? Conversions. There we go. So I got to go back to what years was he with Kansas City? Or, excuse me.
The Bears is 18 to 21.
18. We'll go back to 18. Seth Gross asked me earlier, what are the signs of a good offensive coordinator? And my 4 things that I listed were, 1, no shit Sherlock. Do you score a lot of points per game? Does your offense score a lot of points per game? 2, how effective is your running game? 3, do you get the most out of your quarterbacks? And 4, do you develop quarterbacks? I would say number 5 for me is how do you fare on third down and how do you fare in the red zone as well? So in 2018, third down conversion, I don't know these numbers. I'm just looking them up as we fly. Third down conversion percentage in 2018, the Bears were 12th. Pretty good. Pretty good. That makes me excited. 2019, the Bears were in third down conversion 25th. In 2020, the Bears were 31st, second last in the NFL. In 2021, that would have been his last year there. The Bears in conversions on third down were 31st. So 31st, 31st. So never in the top 10. Don't love that. We'll work backwards here. I also talked about red zone scoring. And all of this has to do with personnel and all that, and I get it. The Chicago Bears in 2021 were 30th in red zone scoring touchdown percentages. They scored touchdowns at a 3.2% higher clip than the 2021 New York Giants, which would have been last in the NFL. In 2020, when you talk conversions in the red zone, the Chicago Bears were 22nd. In 2019, the Bears were in the red zone scoring touchdowns at the 24th highest clip. And then if you go to 2018, his first year there, his best year with the Bears, red zone, they were 6th. So 2018, his best year there, they were 6th in red zone, and they were 11th on third downs. Outside of 2018, in 2019, 2020, and 2021, they were all bottom half of the league in both those, and they were 31st 2 times. Don't love that.
Yeah, that's not good. Those are where games are won and lost, is how you can convert on third down, extend drives, and whether or not you can punch the ball into the end zone when you're in the red zone, scoring touchdowns over field goals. And like a lot of times they say that comes down especially to the play calling and the play design, because the field is compressed. So there's not a lot of room. You got to really make sure you can get guys open, or you can kind of move people the way you want in the run game. So it's telling that he's not able to succeed when you're in those gotta-have-it situations on third down in the red zone.
Yeah, not good stuff in Chicago outside of that first year. And then people say, well, Mitchell Trubisky and Justin Fields, what studs? Well, he drafted Justin Fields. He was the head coach of that team. And then he was the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator who called plays, didn't call plays in Kansas City with a guy named Patrick Mahomes. May have heard of him. And those offenses weren't good either. Doesn't score a lot of points in his history of offensive coordinating. Offenses are never explosive, never in the top 5 consistently, or top 10 consistently on third down, never in the top half of the league in red zone offense. So you don't run the ball well, you don't score a lot of points, you're not good on third down, you're not good in the red zone. Are we missing anything else there?
I don't know.
Or is this just my opinion because I didn't want him?
That's it. You're just pessimistic about the hire. And I think one thing is we talked about, or it's been mentioned, how he's good with quarterbacks that are creative or like able to create or able to have good mobility. So your best strength as an offensive coordinator is
a scrambling quarterback.
Yeah, as a quarterback.
Which is by far and away the most successful play in the NFL, no matter who the coordinator is.
So your best successful trait, is that guys are able to create off the plays that are not the plays you call. They're able to make something happen on their own. That's it doesn't inspire confidence as a play caller, an offensive scheme creator. Maybe he's able to do something that puts them in good positions in those situations, but you have to believe a lot of that's instincts as well. So maybe whether he's able to kind of coach up their football knowledge so that they have good instincts so that when the play breaks down, they are able to make something happen. Okay, if that's what he's good at, I'll take it over nothing. But you would love to have a guy who's able to just draw up a play, get guys open, make their life easier, not prepare them for when their life's harder. Yeah.
Love you guys for spinning negativity as part of what's wrong with the Giants and the fan. Yeah, it's the fan base's fault, not the team that's lost the second most games in the NFL since 2017. You're demonizing the guy as a lousy hire without even giving him a chance. I gave him 4 years of play calling in Chicago, and I gave him 3 years of offensive coordinating with the Chiefs. What do you mean I'm not giving him a chance? All we're speaking about is what he's done as a coach in this league. I don't know how many more times I've said it. I hope he's great. Andrew Connell hopes he's great. I'm going to be rooting for Matt Nagy.
We want to win. We want to win games.
But the evidence that he is a great coach based off of what he's done is very slim to none. And it's always concerning when you hire someone and what he's done in the past doesn't say he deserves this job, and then you're hoping that his best years of coaching are in the future. That's concerning. Is it not? Are you happy that he was a bad coach before he got here? Like, is that what we're happy about? Or are you concerned he was a bad coach before he got here?
You have to make excuses about circumstances for why he wasn't better as a coach. Oh, the O-line wasn't that good. Oh, the receivers were injured. Oh, the running backs weren't that good. Like,
Danny on Wheels says he wasn't doing a thing with Trubisky. His actual best year of coaching was with Mitch Trubisky. So I'm not sure how you could say that. Was he doing anything with Mahomes in 2025 when they had the 23rd least explosive offense? Or in 2024 when they weren't explosive? The best thing he's done is with Mitch Trubisky. That's actually the most impressive thing he's done as a head coach. Went 11-3 with Mitch Trubisky. Went 8-7 with Mitch Trubisky. Went 6-3. So for all the people that want this hire to be good, Andrew, they then poo-poo what he did with Trubisky, but the actual rare green check mark on his resume is he won games with Mitchell Trubisky every single year.
Is anyone saying? And he didn't. Trubisky was there when he got there, so he didn't pick Trubisky as his quarterback. He was forced to work with him because he was already in place when he accepted the head coaching job. I don't think anyone would say Mitchell Trubisky's a good quarterback, so the fact that he was able to win games with him is a good thing, but we also got to point to the context, and it goes both ways. Yes, there's things that have maybe not gone the Chiefs' way the last couple of years, and there's things that for him to win these games as a head coach of the Bears, the defense was extremely good, and that has to be mentioned as well. Listen, is there a hire out there that's probably worse than Matt Nagy? Yes. There is definitely hires that were better out there. Nobody is trying to really just rain on anyone's parade here. We are talking about how this hire impacts the Giants going forward. What Matt Nagy has done well in the past, what he hasn't done well in the past, how it's going to affect the Giants' future.
No one wants to be more excited about this football team than us.
We would rather be here saying, yes, let's go, celebrating, drinking, being excited. We got the guy we wanted. Can't lie to you guys either and say that this was the hire.
The thing that I keep going back to is for this to work, the best years of his coaching history have to be coming. Because there's nothing in the past outside this, like I tweeted it out and like I actually do believe it. This is the only positive spin that I can put on this. He somehow went 6-3 with Trubisky in 2020. Somehow won 8 games. A winning record every year with Mitch Trubisky. Outside of that, there's nothing I can confidently stand on that paints the picture that Matt Nagy is going to crush it with the Giants. And if there are things I'm missing, please put them in the comment section. I would love to be educated. If I'm missing anything, someone let me know.
Yeah, I think.
What gives you the most confidence he's going to be successful, Andrew Connell? It's not a trick question. I'm serious.
Like, he's worked with the Chiefs, and maybe he's able to bring something that they do well over there offensively over to here. I mean, he was at one point a part of successful Chiefs offenses, even if he wasn't the coordinator or he was the coordinator prior. So maybe he's got that in there somewhere where he's able to kind of apply that to Jaxson Dart. Maybe he's able to just help Jaxson Dart talk about what Mahomes does, how Mahomes views the game, how they game plan together, all those things, and help Jaxson Dart individually develop as a player. That's kind of what I'm looking at, and it's hard to say, look at the numbers we just looked at about the Chiefs' recent offensive success and be excited about it. One thing that I guess I want to ask you about is I feel like the recent, there's been a lot of discourse about how the Chiefs, when they were this explosive offense in the past, teams really started playing them differently defensively. They would kind of just
too high and keep everything in front.
Prevent all explosive plays. So how much of that is then Matt Nagy maybe not figuring out a way to then counteract that and adjust to that and beat that in these recent years as we've seen the Chiefs offense struggle? Yes, they lost Tyreek Hill. Did they ever adequately replace him? I don't really know. Did they throw more money into the defense maybe and just kind of hope that Patrick Mahomes would carry them? Potentially, but they spent a lot of money on the offensive line. They still had Travis Kelce. It seems like the Chiefs' offense, once the league caught up to them, never really took that next step in kind of beating whatever that too high defense is that was designed to slow them down.
I've got a really funny answer to that, but I'll start with this. The 2025 Chiefs offense was the best it had been in a while prior to Mahomes being hurt in the last couple games of the Mahomes era. I know that because I paid way too much close attention because in my big money fantasy league, I had Patrick Mahomes. And I was saying it in the offseason, the Patrick Mahomes MVP tour is this year. And he was playing like an MVP this year. And the offense was more explosive. But it tapered off towards the end of the year. You bring up a great point. The Chiefs' offense started to stall out a little bit after that game against the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Shane's best friend, Lou Anarumo, where they sat in cover two safeties, splitting the back end of the defense. How do you best counter
I got it.
too high?
Run the football.
You run the fucking football. You run the damn ball. You run the damn ball. When they are in too high, you run the ball. Matt Nagy could not run the ball in Chicago in any 4 years. Matt Nagy could not create an offense that could run the ball with the Chiefs in 3 years. So I'm giving you the answers to the test on how to beat cover too high. That's what the football gods are saying. It's run the damn ball. And they could not run the ball in advantageous situations. Oh, it's the running back that they didn't have. Yep, it's a running back. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess are the Giants personnel and roster, you hate to say this, are they going to be able to elevate Matt Nagy's run game and run scheme over what he's had in the past? You got Skattebo, obviously. Hopefully he's coming back healthy. You got Tracy, who's had a pretty good 2-year start to his career for a 5th-round running back. The Giants' offensive line has been, I think, the best it's been in a long time. Maybe not an elite group, but trending upwards. Is the lack of ability to run the ball still a concern, but less of a concern because about what the Giants have? You still would like the offensive coordinator to be able to maximize that whatever the ceiling of that talent is. The talent shouldn't be carrying the coaching. The coaching should be elevating the talent. That's not how it should work, but I don't know.
We've gone through all the numbers. Not great on 3rd down. Not great in the red zone. Not great at running the ball. Not great at scoring a lot of points. Matt Nagy has to be the best version of himself for this to even be considered a solid hire. Because if you have gotten what he's done, it would be a horrible hire. I think we all agree on that, right? If everything Matt Nagy has done, he just repurposes into the Giants, we're going to be all upset.
Yeah, well, I mean, what'd you say? The Giants' offense was 16th this past season?
Yep.
The Chiefs' offense was what, 23rd, 22nd, 21st? So it would be a step back if he does exactly what he did last year with the Chiefs, this year with the Giants.
Someone says, geez, Marsh, is there any positives to this hire? The thing that I am most happy about is in 3 years with Mitchell Trubisky, when Mitch started games, they won games. Now, is that due to X, Y, Z? We can argue that till we're blue in the face. But the thing that I'm holding on to tell myself that it's going to be okay is that he went 11-3 with Mitchell Trubisky under center. And then the next year they went 8-7 with Mitch Trubisky under center. And then the next year they won 6 of 9 games with him. So that's where I'm at on that front. This is what I am most positive about.
You want to run through some supers?
Yeah, we can. Picho says, Dan, there wasn't this much of a deep dive on Wilson at DC. Sheesh, literally picking Nagy apart. I'm just analyzing, and also Denard Wilson was hired on a day that we weren't in the office, so it's a lot harder, and it's not hard to pick. What, like, I don't say it's to be an asshole. All you have to do is go look at what the Titans did on defense the last 2 years. I thought Denard Wilson would have been a good hire over Shane Bowen, but also didn't do that good of a job with Tennessee. And it's a very similar argument to Nagy. The tools around him weren't great in Tennessee. I get that. And I understand with Matt Nagy, there wasn't great offensive players with the Chicago Bears. I'm just saying, I don't know anyone can be like, hell yeah, we got Matt Nagy, you don't. Who's doing that? Isn't that what you want to feel? We got the OC that gives us an advantage over everybody else.
This was also always the hire that was under the microscope more because of Jaxson Dart, because of how important it is that he takes the next step as a quarterback, because of how he develops and because of how good he looked this year. You want to continue to build on that. You don't want him to regress or stagnate. You want him to keep ascending and going up and getting better. So the offensive coordinator hire was always going to be under the microscope more. John Harbaugh said it himself. He works on the defensive side of the ball more, as well as the fact that the Giants' offense actually showed some flashes this year. So you're looking to kind of hold and grow on that. The defense was atrocious. It's not going to be hard to improve upon Shane Bowen-led Giants defense.
And everyone's like, well, you don't trust Harbaugh anymore? No, I never said that. Of course I trust John Harbaugh. But we also have to realize that this was John Harbaugh's, what, 4th pick? Right?
Not his first choice. Not his second choice. Not his third choice as well. So,
hoping it works, wishing it works, praying it works. All I'm basing my opinion off of not loving the hire is what he's done in the past. And if what he's done in the past is going to be indicative of what he's going to do in the future, I think we're in trouble. So I'm hoping he's better than he ever has been. I'm hoping he does things that he's never done before. But if we get the Matt Nagy that was in Chicago or the Matt Nagy in Kansas City, I just think we're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he should look at this as an opportunity as well. I mean, he has the opportunity, if he does good things with Jaxson Dart and does good things with the Giants offense, he could see himself looking at and being a head coach, a potential head coaching candidate when the next coaching cycle rolls around. He obviously was with the Bears prior as a head coach, was fired. He still has the ability and may get that second chance and see what you can do. Help the Giants score a lot of points. Help Jaxson Dart take an even bigger step forward in year 2 than he did in year 1. It's all right, and the opportunity is there for Matt Nagy to get another chance.
It's also like someone says, you don't trust Harbaugh if you don't trust him to get his assistants right. I don't need John Harbaugh to tell me that Matt Nagy's a good coach. I've watched Matt Nagy coach. I've done a deep dive on Matt Nagy. I've talked to others who have covered Matt Nagy. That's not trusting John Harbaugh. Trusting John Harbaugh would be he pulls a no-name offensive coordinator that none of us know anything about. And then me believing in that would be trusting John Harbaugh. Nagy's never coached for Harbaugh. I also would feel a lot better if this was choice number 1. But it's not. It's not choice number 2, and it's not choice number 3. And I think we may even be reaching to say it's choice number 4. I am trusting the process. That's all we can do. But since when does trusting the process? I trusted my parents to feed me every single night. Some nights the food was good. Some nights the food was bad. I always woke up the next day knowing I was going to get dinner. That doesn't mean I can't say the meatloaf my mom made sucked. That doesn't mean I can't say that the chicken my dad made was dry. I still trusted for the goods to be made the next day. Just because you trust somebody doesn't mean it's always got to be good.
Nobody's right 100% of the time. 100% of the time. And listen, John Harbaugh has been better at selecting coaches and coordinators than most. So,
what proof do I have of that? Well, Todd Monken agreed to coach the Giants if he didn't coach the Browns. That's proof. Harbaugh said it. The actual quote was, "I tried to convince him to not take the Browns job." That's proof. Also, the request for Davis Webb came with a lot of chatter that was the pivot for the New York Giants. Then reports came out today, the Giants, I will just read you the quote. There was a strong desire from the Giants to get Charlie Weis Jr. to New York, especially for Jaxson Dart. The young QB loves him from their time together at Ole Miss. Ultimately, Weis didn't want to leave LSU. Why would there be a strong desire to get Charlie Weis if they could just go get Matt Nagy?
Yeah, that's it. That's what they wanted. And I even saw a clip of Jameis Winston talking and mentioning Charlie Weis Jr. by name as a potential offensive coordinator candidate. That was yesterday. Obviously, they weren't able to get it done. So here we are. It's Matt Nagy. For better or for worse, he's the Giants' offensive coordinator.
If Matt Nagy was the first choice, Matt Nagy would have been hired 2 weeks ago. Matt Nagy was the second choice. He would have been hired the day after that Monken went to the Browns. You want to know what the best part about this hire is? Nobody knew he got interviewed. That's the best part. And that means that John Harbaugh has got the leaks out of the building. Wonder where they went. Wonder where those leaks come from all the time. I don't know. Maybe the guy that was here for 20 years that just got canned. The best part about this hire is that the Giants are able to operate now in peace. That's the best part about all this. You know how I know everyone that's happy about this hire is just trying to hype themselves up? We did a video on Matt Nagy being the head coach of the New York Giants, and nobody commented saying they wanted him as the head coach. Nobody. Remember the report? Matt Nagy, Arthur Smith, head coach for the Giants. No one was like, woohoo, bring me Nagy. I want Matt as my head coach. And it's okay. We don't have to like the hire. We just need it to work out. Because he's a head coach, not an OC. Who do you think would have called the plays if Matt Nagy was the head coach? Really? We're going to do that? You know what job he would be doing? Offensive coordinator. We just did a video 3 days ago on offensive coordinator candidates. I did a bit skit at the end of it of Matt Nagy. No one commented saying I wanted him to be the head coach. Nobody. I posted on Twitter. Nobody said I want him to be the offensive coordinator. Like, I hope it works out. I'm rooting for it to work out. I need it. We need it to work out. Jaxson Dart, most importantly, needs it to work out. Hope it does. I really, really do. We're not NFL coaches, to be fair. I'm not really sure what that has anything to do with it. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's saying they offered Cliff Kingsbury the job. I don't think anyone's saying that. Excuse me. I hope it's the right move. I hope it's the right move. We'll see. I got to stop what? Saying that Matt Nagy was not a good coach at his prior stops? Should I lie? Matt Nagy crushed it with the Bears. That Chiefs offense got way more explosive when they got Matt Nagy. The Chiefs are sad they lost out on Matt Nagy. So much so, they didn't even extend a contract offer to him, and they called Eric Bieniemy back up to be their offensive coordinator. Like, what do you want? Do you guys want facts or you want butt touches? Like, you just want attaboy. Attaboy. Is that what you want? You want a little slap on the butt? Attaboy. We got him. We got him. Hell yeah, we did. We got Matt Nagy and you don't. Is that what you want? You're never going to get that from me. Never. I'm going to have my opinions. I got strong opinions. I'm not right all the time, and I'm not wrong all the time. Why am I overreacting? Because I think the Giants did a bad thing today. I think the Giants, for their most important staff position outside of head coach, did not get the best guy. I think that's worrisome, especially when you have a young quarterback like Jaxson Dart. Would you rather hire bad coaches than good coaches? Is that what you're saying? Should I be happy that the Giants hired Matt Nagy? Who's happy? On a scale of 1 to 10, where is your happiness with the hire? Scale of 1 to 10. Where's your happiness at? Like, is anyone? Hell yeah, we got Matt Nagy.
4, 5, -10, 5, 3, 0, 4 out of 10, 3, 3, 10.
Nagy has to prove Giants fans wrong. Yes, he does, J-Fed. Yes, he does. So you're a 6.5 out of 10 happy, but I'm not allowed to be the same thing? That's a fail. You failed. You got a 65. You failed. No one has said anything over a 7. But I'm supposed to be up here banging the table that Matt Nagy's a hell of a hire. We did the same song and dance. Everyone told me Shane Bowen's going to be great. Okay. Okay. We'll see. Jason Garrett's got experience. Okay.
Let him cook.
Okay. Did we forget who just John Harbaugh hired as the Baltimore defensive coordinator and Zach Orr? The man is a great head coach. We are lucky for him to be the head coach of the Giants. He doesn't bat 1,000. If he did, he wouldn't have been fired. I still believe in John Harbaugh. I still want John Harbaugh as my coach more than any other coach that was available this offseason. He's not always right. If he was, he would have more than one Super Bowl. And he would have made the playoffs every single year. And Zach Orr would have been a great defensive coordinator. He's a great coach. He's a great coach. We are lucky to have him. Doesn't mean I can't say I think the move is bad. It's my job to give my opinion. Would you rather me stand up here and lie or give you the honest truth of how I feel? I care too much about you guys to come up here and lie and tell you Matt Nagy's an A+ hire. Matt Nagy's going to win the Giants Super Bowl next year, which I hope is true. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. And it's gotten us that far. It's gotten us that far. Yeah, of course we're going to see what he does. You don't play a game tomorrow? We're all hoping he does well. I don't know how many more times I can say that. No one's rooting against Matt Nagy. Just here to give my opinion. And I'm very appreciative that over 4,000 people have already tuned in today to hear about it. I appreciate that. We'll go through some super chats in a second. Just going to check my timeline to see if we got any other news coming in. We will have this conversation after 8 games. We'll have it after 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. Every game we're going to talk about the Giants.
Probably have it about 100 more times before they even play a game as well.
You think we're just going to do this and then never revisit it?
I will say, Matt Nagy, one thing going for him, Delaware Blue Hens. So,
yeah, hey, not the first quarterback that, not the first player out of Delaware that John Harbaugh has selected to run his offense.
It's true. A connection there.
I 100% agree, Seth Gross. 100% agree.
I mean, and also, like, there's obviously something he said when he did interview that John Harbaugh liked, whatever the plan was for what he's going to do with the offense, Jaxson Dart, the run game, the pass game, red zone, third down. You're not going to be able to fool John Harbaugh football-wise. So he liked some of what he heard, and I'm sure John Harbaugh will have his own input on what he wants done with the offense, even though he's not necessarily an offensive coach. He knows football. He knows what it takes to win in this league. So I'm sure he will collaborate with him on general strategy as far as what the offense is going to do a lot of, what they're not going to do a lot of. And, like, still a lot of offseason to go, so you don't know what the rest of this, the personnel on the offense is going to look like as well. New players they let go, who they draft. We'll see. It's up to Matt Nagy and John Harbaugh to get the most out of this Giants offense and go from there.
Hell yeah, I hope we win the Super Bowl, Rob Simpy. Hell yeah, I do. And no, but you'll be giving the guy a chance. Yeah, I am going to give him a chance. What do I get at coming out of here and shitting on the hire? What do I get out of that? Just like I get nothing out of it if I come up here and tell you that the New York Giants are guaranteed to win the Super Bowl because they got Matt Nagy. Just giving you my opinion. Give it a C- of a grade. And I've already said, I think there's a good chance it works out. But that would take Matt Nagy to be the best version of himself going forward. And I always think it's hard to Yeah, Tiki Barber was really confident. So confident he said the things that Matt Nagy does, Jaxson Dart, and then he couldn't even tell you what Matt Nagy does. Also, Tiki Barber wanted Kevin Stefanski over John Harbaugh. So you listen to who you want to. My guy Greg Congdon coming in with a $50 super chat. What up, brother? Says John Harbaugh. Trust the Harbaugh process. I am trusting it. I'm already on this ride, my man. I am on it. I am strapped into my seat. I am ready to go. I've got my Matt Nagy pom-poms already on the way here. They're on the way to the office.
Greg Congdon.
I love that. Greg Congdon, you the man, bro. I don't say this in any way. I hope John Harbaugh's right. That's all we could do is hope. I'm right there with you. Marty Malela, what up, my man? $50 super chat. Greg, thank you for the $50 super chat. Marty Malela, thank you for the $50 super chat. Says Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator. Really? He was the best option available. Trust the process, they say. I am trusting the process, and no, it wasn't the first option or second option or arguably even the third option for the Giants. But he's our offensive coordinator now, and I'm hoping the best for him. I am. And majority of the time, John Harbaugh has been right on his coordinators, and that's why he's looked at as one of the best head coaches of this era. And I'm leaning on that, and I'm hoping on that, and I'm praying on that. But there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that suggests that Matt Nagy is not a good offensive coordinator. So we are going to hope that the best years of his offensive coordinating come in the future. Because if it's just a repeat of what he does.
Maybe he's due. He's due.
He's due. He's due. It's all right in front of us.
Yeah.
It's all right in front of us, right? Maybe, maybe it's just all right in front of us. All the opportunities we ever could have asked for right in front of us.
Yep. Shout out to Marty.
Marty Layla.
Super chat. Excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty. You the man. Remy, please tell me this is early. No, it's not. It's not. No, he's your offensive coordinator. He's your offensive coordinator. Will Evans, thank you for the super chat, man. Look, I know he's not perfect, but football rarely is, but I do see this helping the run game, yes. But more importantly, is Dart better than Trubisky? Yeah, he's not perfect, and nobody is perfect. I just have a little bit of a factual statement of I think this helps the run game. I'm just curious, where do you come up with evidence to say that? Because the only thing in Matt Nagy's career suggests that none of his offenses have been elite on the ground. If you want to talk about rushing offense, yards per attempt in Chicago, 21st, 27th, and 29th. I think there are some things to be excited about with him. I just don't think that him improving the run game is one of them. Hopefully he improves this run game. That'd be sick. But there's nothing in the past that suggests that he will. The hope is that you hire a run game coordinator to come in here and dial it up. But to just go out on a limb and say he's going to help the run game when his prior stops offensive coordinator suggests that he doesn't, to think that he's just going to do here is blind faith. And I'm down for blind faith. I always am. I just don't think it's fair. It's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. The evidence suggests, Andrew Connell, the weakest part of his offense is always the run game.
Yeah, that's not. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the stats that say he has not had a lot of successful rushing attacks in his prior stops as offensive coordinator. Now, are there other factors at play? Could there be other factors at play? Sure.
Yep.
Has he ever had a 1-2 running back punch like Skattebo and Tracy? I'd have to go back and look at the rosters. The Chiefs have obviously won the Super Bowl with some of the backs they had when they were there, so they couldn't have been too bad. The Chiefs have had a pretty good offensive line. I don't know their pass block versus run block grades, and I can't speak on the Chicago Bears rosters from 2018 to 2021. Giants' offensive line was, I think, middle of the road this year, statistically. Better than that's been in the last couple of years. Hopefully they can build on that. And I think that you could do a lot worse than Scat and Tracy as a 1-2 punch in the backfield. So, but we talked about that. Can Matt Nagy elevate that group, or is that group going to elevate Matt Nagy's run game as an offensive coordinator? You would always prefer the coach to get the most out of the players, not the players to elevate the coach and win or be successful at something in spite of the coach. We'll see. Maybe he's got something new cooked up that he sold John Harbaugh in during his interview process.
Maybe he sold him on, I'm going to bring in this guy to draw up our run game. I just don't think it's fair to say that he's going to help the run game based off of what he's done in the past. New ideas, new philosophies, new thoughts, sure. But more importantly, is Dart better than Trubisky? I think he's better than Trubisky. I also have been pretty vocal about. I think the best thing Matt Nagy has ever done as a coach is win games with Trubisky under center. So yeah, hopefully the winning with a good quarterback continues. That's the goal here. Marco Di Natale, what up, bro? Shout out to you. Nagy is mid. Thank you for the super chat. But way more experience than any other candidates, and I feel like we need more structure, and Harbaugh's bringing that. Better than Calf? I guess we'll find out if he's better than Kafka. Kafka did a pretty good job as the offensive coordinator this year. Best the Giants' offense has been in
long time.
Long time. They were more explosive. They put up more points. And he did it with the three amigos at quarterback, with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Jaxson Dart. Would I have rather kept Kafka than go to Nagy? No, I was done with Kafka. I don't think that would have made much sense. Just get all John Harbaugh's guys in here. You can't say the Giants weren't good because of coaching, and then you want to retain all these coaches on the staff.
I think it speaks well. Kafka didn't get an offensive coordinator job as well. I think he's in Detroit as a senior offensive assistant.
He's the OC in waiting once they fire the one they got. Pretty much what it is. But I'm excited to see what Nagy can do. I'm excited to see what he could do. Hoping it's the best he's done yet. My man, Papa Swanky, what up, my man? As a Chiefs fan, thank you for the super chat as always. As a Chiefs fan, I really wasn't the big fan of Nagy. I'm not sure if he can't bring new ideas to the offense that Harbaugh couldn't. He could prove me wrong, though. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I'm hoping have realized. We are hoping there's a new version of Matt Nagy, and we're hoping the best is in front of Matt Nagy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously him and Harbaugh have never worked directly together, so there could be some new ideas that spring out of that partnership. At the same time, John Harbaugh is an Andy Reid disciple, and Nagy, other than when he was the head coach, has pretty much always worked under Andy Reid, so I'm sure there is already a lot of overlap there. We'll see.
My man, Papa Swanky, you the man, bro. Let's go next. Mike G, what up, Marsh? Latest tire, not great. Hopefully it works better than most of us think. Appreciate you, brother. Should have hired a few MGs to run the offense, just saying. We would have been dialing that shit up, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I understand that some people as fans want to defend everything a franchise does, and there's some people that are glass half full or glass half empty. I probably lean more towards glass half empty. The amount of losses that we've witnessed since 2017, I think will do that to somebody. But I'm looking at this as just Matt Nagy. And there's not a lot of things I can point to be excited about with Matt Nagy. If I'm missing the boat on any, look, I have searched long and hard since this news is broke for positive spins on Matt Nagy. I know his players love him. I love that. Patrick Mahomes was very complimentary of him. He's coached under Andy Reid. Hopefully he's learned a lot from Andy Reid. But, again, I go through the data. Here's the data. Big pot of data. Pro pot, con pot. There's a lot more in the con pot than pro pot. And I don't know anyone really can say there's not. That's where I'm at. David, Halliburton.
The Hallie.
F the Pacers. Appreciate you, bro. We might as well have a Madden Pro over Nagy. What does that mean?
Think if you play Madden, it gives you suggested plays.
Suggested plays?
I think that's where I'm looking at it as.
I'm hoping the best. Marty Malela, another $50 super chat. You the man, brother. Give me some MMs in the chat. Thank you as always. Once the news broke, I sent you an Instagram message. I hate this hire. Yeah, I was supposed to be at a doctor's appointment this morning, but we had to cancel that, and we got to get you guys a Matt Nagy video. It's been an eventful morning, and now early afternoon.
I woke up to that. That was I can tell you I was not pumping my fist.
Wait, what do you mean? You didn't wake up and go run through your house saying, hell yeah, we got...
Actually, I got a noise complaint because of how the happy screams I was giving off when I saw the news.
No one is rooting for Matt Nagy to fail. No one. If you are, you're not a Giants fan. We're all hoping the best. We just have a little bit of concern that...
We've been burned before as well, so...
Yeah. Papa Swanky, back again, my man. Other factors at play, but ever since Matt Nagy got hired in Kansas City, he turned my first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback into Matt Schaub. Yeah, I agreed. A lot at play. You lost Tyreek Hill, never really replaced him, and by never really, you absolutely did not. Travis Kelce is getting older and older and older. But the evidence says when Matt Nagy joined the Chiefs, their offense got significantly worse. Causation, correlation, you can decide. Reasons are A through Z as to why that could happen. But the Chiefs were the most explosive offense in the NFL, and then they turned into a bottom 10 explosive offense in the NFL. I don't know. Was it Nagy? Was it the league catching up to Mahomes? Was it Andy Reid? I don't know. But the evidence suggests that when Matt Nagy got, not suggests, the evidence tells you, when Matt Nagy took that job, that Chiefs offense was the worst that it had been in the Patrick Mahomes era. Who knows what the reasons are? Just the facts. Jaleel, what up, my man? Appreciate you. Nagy would have won against the Eagles in 2018 if it wasn't for the kicker that missed the field goal at the end, the double doink. Eagles ended up winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, the 2018 Bears were a solid football team. It was his best job of coaching. His best thing he did was hire Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator, and they were the number 1 defense in the NFL on a points per game allowed basis. They were 9th in points per game scored. Anytime you could be top 10 in points scored in an NFL season is pretty damn good. And he did that with Mitch Trubisky. Hopefully the Giants are 9th in scoring next year. That'd be sick.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be sick. If we can get that, Matt Nagy, sign me up. Elon, what up, man? I don't know how any fan's excited about this. He gives us no advantage on offense. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Hopefully he's got more planned. Hopefully there's going to be an emphasis on bringing someone in that is experienced in run design and run offense. But, yeah, not great. Not great on day one. C- is my grade. Hope I'm wrong. Hope I get to eat crow. I'll have seconds if so. Big Daddy, 9210 Eagle. What up, Beast? E-rating that people are upset with you guys for
irritating.
What does it say? Irritating? Jeez, I can't read. Irritating that people are upset with you guys for speaking facts just because we have John doesn't mean he is above being questioned about decisions. I think it's very, very fair. And I appreciate that coming from you. I appreciate the contribution to the channel. As there's another NBA trade. The Chicago Bulls are trading Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Celtics. So the Boston Celtics add a very talented scoring big man today as well.
Wow. Seeps and Smitty, dual live.
I have all the faith in the world in John Harbaugh. I also had all the faith in the world in my parents to raise me right. Doesn't mean I didn't question some of those things. Like, you can believe in somebody all you want. You also should have your own thoughts and ideas and opinions. And at the end of the day, I will defer to John Harbaugh. There's reason. If you think this is me crashing out, you haven't actually seen me crash out before. I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Like I tend to be more glass half full. I want to have reasons. I look for reasons to be happy and excited about something. It's hard when we did all the prep before the show that we did, looking at the stats of Matt Nagy as an offensive coordinator, looking at the Chiefs offense and how they've been since he got there, and looking at the Bears offense when he was there as the head coach, as an offensive-minded head coach, being responsible for all that goes on as well. It's hard to ignore all the things that are there in front of you. It would be naive to just say that doesn't matter, or then there's the point of having to make excuses about why those things are the way they are instead of just accepting that those are the results. Like, if the Giants' offense is bad this year and stuff happens, are we going to be happy? Or are we going to make excuses for why they weren't bad? All we care about is the results of what happens this season with the Giants. The results haven't been good enough. Dr. Intel.
What's up, B? 6-4-3 in the last 3 seasons. Trust John. What is that? The Ravens scoring offense?
I think so.
Well, I don't even think those numbers are right, to be honest with you, if that's what it is. John Harbaugh. It would be 4-3-11. 4-3-11. But yeah. Look, I think we've talked about plenty of times how John Harbaugh has done a great job building staffs before. But I also think it's fair to acknowledge that His offenses have been 25th in scoring, 25th in scoring, 21st in scoring, 19th in scoring, 17th in scoring, 16th in scoring. While they've also been 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 11th, 12th, 13th. What does that say? He's not batting 1,000. Nobody does. Bill Belichick didn't bat 1,000. Kerry Morris says if he ends up being a lousy OC, how long would we be stuck with him? 1 year. 1 year. If he's lousy this year, John Harbaugh will move on. He's done that. The year I believe that the Ravens won the Super Bowl, he fired the defensive coordinator that year.
Midseason.
Yeah. That would be what, 2008? No. 11? 2009? Was the year after the Giants?
It was right around that time. It was either maybe the year before or year after. I think maybe after.
It was 2012, the year after they went the second time.
Yeah.
The Ravens in 2012 fired. I don't remember if they fired Jim Caldwell or Cam Cameron. They had 2 offensive coordinators that year.
That's funny, Picho. That may even be more than our win total.
But yeah, if John Harbaugh realizes he's not the guy for the job, he'll move swiftly. He will. JC, what up, my man? Thank you for the love as always. When Harbaugh got hired, I was like, okay, good hire. Now I get his DC and OC, and I'm like, not solid. Not sold. I think the Giants will be better, but not by much. I hope you're wrong. If the Giants aren't better, or if they're better but not by much, that would be very disappointing. I told you how I feel. I am going from hoping to win to expecting to win. And
I think that's how it should be with John Harbaugh here.
And I'd be lying if I don't tell you the truth of I think Matt Nagy changes some expectations. That's how I feel. Hope I'm wrong. Will Evans, good coaches uplift players, good head coaches. Yeah, I'm hoping John Harbaugh makes a lot of the players on this team better. Hope he also makes the coaches on this team better as well. KP, I don't know if I missed it, but I think the question we should be asking is what about Nagy made Harbaugh say he's the guy? That's a great question. I'd love to know. If that question does not get answered, when I speak to John Harbaugh at the Combine, I'll ask him why. That's a great question. Why Matt Nagy? Why Matt Nagy? It's a great question. Hopefully he gives us something good. Scott Hernan. Yeah, buddy. What up, Scott Hernan? Ball control with flashes of fire and a killer D. Just need to upgrade to special teams. Coach Harbaugh has experience with special teams. Got to compete each week, and we're going to have a lot more fun next season. I co-sign you there, man. I hope we do. I'm expecting to. Let's go win a lot of games. That's all we want. We just want to win a lot of games. Giants could have the worst offense in the NFL next year for all I care if they win a lot of games. Just want to win. That's all we want to do. Randy Williams, what up, my man? Thank you for the $10 super chat. There seems to be a discrepancy between the talking heads on radio TV who generally like the Nagy hire and fans online who hate it. We'll know who's right by this time next year. Favorite part about sports. We always are going to figure it out. We are always going to figure it out. It's also the cool thing to do to spew nothing but positivity after you hire someone. Just like everyone wanted to do it after they hired Joe Shane. Everyone wanted to do it after they hired Brian Dable. We're in the honeymoon phase. No one wants to be negative during the honeymoon phase. Negativity doesn't sell during that. I'm not trying to be negative. Just giving you the God honest truth. And I hope other people are just being honest in their evaluations instead of catering to people. But we'll see. Kerry Morris, my man. Shout out to you, brother. Number one fan. Thank you. $10 super chat. Thank you. I don't know. Not my favorite hire. Guess you could have done worse as well.
I think that's probably true. But
anytime you have to apply that logic, it's usually not good.
Yeah. I mean, and you did talk about is some of the things that Harbaugh was probably going to look for. Someone who has been a head coach.
There was a reason I included him in that video at the end.
Head coach, prior play calling experience. Also, obviously has the Andy Reid Harbaugh coaching tree connection as well. So a lot of the signs were there. But yeah, I think
We're the only people that told you it was a possibility. That's why you subscribed.
The fact that this wasn't really leaked, I guess that's the positive aspect of it, but also it's another reason why no one was really expecting it, because there was no news about or inklings or inclinations that he was close to being the guy. So sure, we will spend a lot more time talking about this and trying to figure out how Matt Nagy's scheme can fit the Giants' offense, their roster, as it evolves with free agency and the draft right around the corner. I want to be tapped in for that. I'm sure everyone who's left here hanging out with us probably is. But if not, subscribe to the channel. We're at 1,515 subscribers. That's incredible stuff. We couldn't do it without you guys supporting us. Even if we're all just talking ball, remember, we're all on the same team. We're all Giants fans. We all want the Giants to win and be the best version as possible of their organization. So appreciate everyone who watched the show, liked, commented, super chatted, everything.
GC Fuertes, $2 super chat, says no one wants to work for Tish right now. Appreciate the super chat, man. Giants released a statement. NFL released a statement. Again, I hope that you guys can respect us. We're just going to kind of talk football. We're just going to talk football. And that doesn't mean that we are pro of what is being reported. We know how serious of an issue it is. We're just going to keep it football. Yeah, we're just going to keep it football. I hope everyone can respect that. It's my job. It's what I've been told to do. Just doing my job. Michael Nagy made a lot of mistakes in Chicago. I don't know. In Harbaugh, we trust. Yeah. I don't think it's good when you have to just say trust the head coach, blind faith. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm hoping and I'm trusting. Hoping and trusting. Yeah, no, you're good. I don't have much to say. I don't have much to say. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Old school coaching room will be good. The Giants players need a lesson in maturity. After they get the basics, then we can focus on creative play calling. Lars, I'm just doing my job, man. Just like I would assume you have a job and you listen to your bosses. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. If you have a problem with that, you don't have to watch the channel. It's all right. But just doing what I can. Doing what I can. Anthony, we appreciate you, brother.
Shout out to Anthony. We got a super chat from Ramdre as well. We'll get that up on the screen. Appreciate you.
Hey, look, I understand how anyone would feel. I'm just doing my job. Just doing my job. Hope everyone can respect that. And I think if you've watched this show long enough and you know anything about me, you would know how I feel, and I don't even need to tell you how I feel about the situation. And to think that I wouldn't, you know what? I'm sorry that you feel that way about me. I'm sorry if that's how you think I operate. My man Corey Hurd in the building. What up, bro? Shout out to you, brother. You the man, dog. Romdre81, thank you for the super chat. Says Harbaugh said he wanted teachers. Hopefully Wilson and Nagy can teach these guys how to win. Because right now we have a master's degree in losing. Yeah, teach us how to win. Teach us how to win. It's important. It's much more important than a win in Week 18 against the backup Cowboys and backup Raiders. You learn about winning by doing it, but not in meaningless football games.
When it counts.
I wanted to do a video on this, but again, everyone wants to just be told how great the Giants are right now, so I don't want to be that guy. The difference between the Giants and the difference between the Bears. And the Bears have been a losing franchise just like the Giants, but they've turned the leaf. Ben Johnson said, how can you build off of what you guys did this year going into next year? His answer, nothing. There's nothing to build off. Every year you start at the bottom, and you got to build your way back up. Everything we did last year does not matter. That's the sign of a winning organization. That's the sign of somebody who knows what the hell's going on. So don't believe the BS the Giants are trying to sell you. That win in Week 17 against the Raiders, that win in Week 18 against the backup and the Cowboys, that's teaching our guys how to win. If that was the case, the Giants would be winning because they told you that in the Andrew Thomas draft. They told you that in the Daniel Jones draft. They told you that in the Tommy DeVito draft. They told you that with the Drew Lock win, and they told you that last year. Sorry, I just had to say that. Because I'm sick and tired of saying that culture wins in Week 17 and Week 18 matter. Because they don't matter for shit.
It's a completely new team each year. And if winning in prior winning in life and stuff carried over, a lot of these guys come from very successful college programs if they knew how to win. And that was the reason why they would win right when they got to the NFL. That's it. Just got to reset. It's like if you go out for the second half, coach will say score 0-0. Go out there like it's 0-0. Play like don't play like you're ahead. Play like you have to earn every single point out there. It's true from game to game, quarter to quarter, season to season. So,
Corey Hurd, my man, nothing meaningful to say, but let's effing go New York Football Giants. Corey Hurd, you the man, bro. You the man. We love you, dog. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, bro. Dubs, for real. For real, for real. For real, for real, for real, for real. Patrick Mahomes got worse when he was hired for Kansas City. Yeah, who knows why? Who knows why? Maybe it's Matt Nagy. Maybe it's lost Tyreek Hill. Maybe it's Travis Kelce getting old. Maybe it's Rashee Rice being hurt. Rashee Rice hitting people in traffic and then running away.
It's also hard to just play like record-breaking every single year after year after year as well. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, when Matt Nagy got to the Chiefs, their offensive numbers were not nearly as good. What influence does Matt Nagy have on that? We're going to find out. We're going to find out real quick, aren't we? We're in the fast lane of finding out who the hell Matt Nagy is as a coach.
Caught up.
Yep. So do you guys feel better or worse about the hire? Because, not gonna lie, after we did those dives into the third down and red zone, I feel worse.
It's not good. Felt worse about it once we started looking at the stats. More stats, looking at the worse you feel.
And Albert Breer saying, we really like the Matt Nagy, Jaxson Dart fit for the Giants. Makes me feel even worse. The ex-Chiefs OC will be able to implement a lot of things he did with Alex Smith in his first stint in Kansas City. Also shares the Andy Reid background with John Harbaugh.
Nice. So we're shooting for Alex Smith for Jaxson Dart.
He is just a mouthpiece for Joe Shane, man. Zion, what up, my man? What happened in Harbaugh we trust? I don't know. What do you think happened? Because I would love to know what happened. Has anyone said the Giants should fire John Harbaugh? Has anyone said that? Have I said that? Has Andrew said that? Has anyone said we're not trusting in John Harbaugh anymore? Or do you just want to be the guy that like sounds cool in the comment section and like maybe gets a laughing emoji or something? Yeah, no fucking shit. He's Harbaugh's pick. Harbaugh's the head coach. Say something that's not obvious, brother. I'm daring you. I'm daring you. Did you wake up this morning fist pumping and say, fuck yeah, I got Matt Nagy and you don't? You did that today? Did you do that today? Zion, appreciate the $5 super chat. This is such a joke. Matt Nagy sucks. Like, WTF is that? All these Giants fans are simps. And yes, this man is a horrible hire. I guess I'll trust the process. Yeah, look, I don't think there's a lot to really stand on to say that you are excited about the hire. We've gone through every number of every year that matters. And I don't think anyone watching today's stream, after we provided facts, is more happy about the hire than when it started. I don't know. I'm hoping that the best years of Matt Nagy are ahead of him.
Yep. Look at Anthony. Shout out
Yeah,
to him in the
I
comment
agree.
section. Yep.
When people show you who they are, believe them. People show you who they are, believe them.
That was your point about it's different trusting this process than if Harbaugh took a guy who had never done any of this before and was kind of an unknown. That's different trusting that process than trusting the process of a guy who has plenty of data available and an offensive coordinator, head coach, play caller in the NFL. So
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. That's all I got to say on that. All right, we're going to sign off on the show. I think we've been live for almost 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever it's been. I appreciate you guys. We'll do another video on Matt Nagy coming out momentarily. Going to compile some stats, compile some things, and compile. Shout out to Bronx Boy. But yeah, we'll see you guys later. Let's go.